Hey, my kitchen cammers. Hey, guys, what's going on? We're going to do a little bit of early, quick loaf making today. At least I think I am. Because, let's see, let's hope. Let's hope, okay. So we got our starter here. We had to do a starter. So we're tackling a new recipe today that will hopefully yield us a nice little, I think it's called a free-form loaf, and it's something about fermented, and we have to have a starter. So we're not going to get, well, Kitchen Kim, you guys will hang out throughout this process. And let me let you know that some of this broadcast will be muted because what we've done is we just decided to let the Kitchen Cam on YouTube just kind of run. So I'll go in and out of the kitchen, and I'll go in and out of the view. And you'll know when I get to a stopping point. I'll let you know if I'm gonna mute because as I go to other rooms and have to do other things. But bread making is not something that you can like totally live stream the whole process because like this right here, this little starter thing, I had to do 24 hours before I actually attempted to make the bread. And it looks like a simple recipe, but our learning experience today is because we decided to go ahead and get a scale. And I wish I could put you guys on a better device because that just seems so bright to me. Hold on, let me see if I can tap. It seems like it's hella bright, like you guys can't even see the words that are on there. So I'm gonna try and fix that as well. I don't know what else to do. And I know you get set all day to go live, and all of a sudden you like can't get anything done. So let me get that shared out, and then I'm going to get another broadcast going here. We're going to run a couple streams today. And I thought I was feeling better. And I know I was probably looking a little swollen. I'm fighting the cold and some other things too. So let's see here. I'm going to get that shared. And then I'm going to bring Periscope on and see where we're going to start, how we're going to start this process. I'm going to see if I can fix that. My energy is going up and down and up and down. I'm like, gosh, can I get it to stay the same for a second? All right, well, we'll get that in a couple. Let's see, this one. I want to put a couple different subjects here. Okay, so it says, okay. One of the things that I have found, and this is the recipe booklet that I'm using right now to learn to make bread, is the ingredients seems throughout to stay the same. They go up and down, and seems like the difference in everything comes through the pan that you prepare it in. Now I'm gonna use just a round pan because apparently this is going to be free forming. The recipe that I chose, I like it because I get to use some all-purpose flour and some wheat flour. So it's basically gonna be and I think I was around page, those of you that have the book and following along, man, I really want to make this with this, there's so much inspiration in this book, I tell you. Oh my God, y'all, I'm telling you, there's so much inspiration in this book. One thing, oh, this is the one I want to do, the country wheat bowl. I don't know, I like to say boule. But that's what I want to make today. It's one of those. But it has, in the recipe, it has a step that you have to do 24 hours prior. So we came on the other day, and I probably should have did this yesterday. We came on the other day and we looked at it. We did the first step, which you have to use 140 grams of. One of the things we saw, if you watched the other kitchen camp, before I get into all this conversation, let me go ahead and get Periscope on. I'm going to use this later. I'm going to use the joystick later. So I'll put the joystick over there because this is going to be kind of stationary. Did I not charge this thing? Oh yeah. Looks like it's tripping. I'm like, don't play with me. All right, hey Periscope, hey everybody coming in. Okay, so now we got 2 views, and I really want to do a third one, but I'm like, I don't want to go have to grab another device. And is that I took the grip off of there. The light is like so weird today. It is so weird today. I don't know what that is. You know, I want to have that light on. What does it do back there? I know the light needs to be back there. I don't know. It's just so, I feel so weird. Like, is it too early? Maybe it's too early in the sun because the sun is like right over the window. Okay, so anyway, kitchen cam days. Wednesday's kitchen cam. And no matter what I'm going to do in the kitchen, you guys will get a chance to watch. But what I'm going to talk about is we've got this great inspiration out of the cookbook. And that's this one. Hey there. Let me see. Who said hello? Like I can see. Hey, what's going on? Okay, we got a YouTube. I gotta bring it. That's what I need my other device for, so that I can see the comments. I don't have to come like all to the screen. Let me go. I was like, I knew I needed one more thing. Let me get one more. I tell you, these things usually end up being such a production that needs to go up there so I can use my easel so that I can see the comments. So kitchen cam is sometimes quiet on the set. Sometimes it's talking. YouTube, again, you guys are going to go in and out of mute. The other day, man, we had such a good time to have music playing. And, of course, I was on Facebook, and Facebook went back, oh, it's partially muted. And then the same thing with YouTube. When they pick up on certain ASCAP songs or BMI songs or what's the other one, they will mute those portions or prohibit you from monetizing your broadcast, so you guys just gonna have to listen to me. And I've even tried to turn it down like low, just so we can have some background noise, because it does get pretty quiet if I'm like reading and really working and trying to do stuff. So this one I'm gonna put on Periscope so I can see and welcome everybody in as they come in. Oh wait, hold on. So we'll do that. Let me turn that down. And then this one I'll watch on YouTube. Turn that down. Bill Monty. Okay, I see you. Hello there. So I can try to see the comments. This is so funny. This guy is so funny on here that what's his name on Periscope? Young Lonnie. Oh my God, he is so funny to me. All right. Okay, there we go. Oh, you know what? I did go portrait on that. Okay. All right, so one of the things that we've learned about baking is if you're going to be serious about baking, or if you're just going to be an amateur, just love to come in the kitchen and get your hands in the dough. I tell you, I like that feeling. I like kneading. You know, one of the things I wanted to really work on was kneading the dough. You know what? I think I might make some pasta later on for dinner. But right now, what I need to do is I need to get a loaf started, and it has to rise. Usually, there's like 45 minutes to an hour that the dough has to kind of sit and rise. So you don't really get to go through this whole process. But I'm going to tell you guys, I'm so excited about just getting my hands in this. So, what this book is absolute curriculum. If you want one, let me know. I've got a couple extra, and I'm still trying to figure out. I don't know, but if you want one, let me know. But in the book, they have the recipe in 3 measurements. They have, you know, standard American, which is your cups and your teaspoons and so forth. But it gets so complicated in baking. It gets so complicated. Then they also have it in grams, and they have it in ounces, right? And as far as the simple math, like I know for me, every recipe off the bat, I'm going to cut it in half because I just don't need that much. I'm not trying to make a huge loaf. I'm just doing this kind of as a hobby. And if it's good, we do consume it. A lot of people ask me, what happens with all the food that I make? If it looks good on the stream, family will show up and they'll eat it. If not, they'll come home, they'll bring burgers or whatever, right? So, I just love baking. And one of the reasons I came back into the kitchen kind of as a therapeutic way of just having something to do. And I found this book at the buyout, I always say buyout store, meaning like your neighborhood, you know, little stores or whatever. We all have them. I have really got to take this trash out. And that's what I came here to do. But I love this book because it's really more than just a recipe. Like some of the books, you know, they give you the recipe, they give you a little bit of story, but this one really gives you an education on baking. It really does. Hey there, EBD, and we're getting kind of slow over there. So, what it does is, or if you're going to multiply a recipe or reduce a recipe, it's really recommended. I'm trying to hear what this noise is. Okay. I'm expecting somebody to come and change out some things for me. So, it's really recommended you use a scale. So I went out and I didn't really invest a whole lot of money in the scale. In fact, they were all right around the same price range, $20 and up. And of course, you know, it's so hard to go by the reviews or to read the reviews. I read the reviews that were more positive than negative. You know, the negative reviews, they just go on and on and on for days. But most people say, hey, it does what it's supposed to do. And so I played around with it the other day. And what I love about it, I can use the grams. And I know in all of the recipes, like even watching the pasta ladies, anything that has to do with like the flour, dealing with flour and so forth, simple things, not simple things because they're very complex, but it just using the grams, you know, grams are, it's just it. And make it easy because first off, I want to cut it all in half because I don't want to make that much. And it's easier to do that, like say for instance, this has got water at a couple of temperatures, and I'm trying to figure out why. It says water at 70, and this is the difference in how the bread turns out. Water at 75 degrees to 80 degrees. Okay, they just break down the temperature at that. Okay, so warm water. Yeast, all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, and then it tells you your total flour, and then it's just salt. So this recipe is literally this whole loaf of bread is flour, water, and yeast, right? And how I ended up doing this is I wanted to blog about how each culture, it's so funny how far in I went with this. And then there was me, welcome in. How I ended up going down this road was I was trying to blog about, I heard a story in the Trump era, and they were talking about these food supplements that they were going to give out, and they compared it to boxes of food that went out a long time ago, and it talked about how each I was like, wait a minute. So if Alaska was giving flour and all these different places, nationalities, ethnicities were each given this food supplement, how did we all end up doing something different with it? How it's prepared in the South, how it's prepared in the North, how it's prepared in the East, the West, Alaska, Hawaii, and so forth. You notice in all these places we go, that everybody has a different type of thing they do with the bread. Cornbread being the standard bread in the South, the hoe cake and the history of the hoe cake. I'm just real fascinated with, no matter what it is I'm learning, I'm real fascinated in what was the history of it. And we lose that a lot. We lose it a lot as history is literally being rewritten, as new books come out. Some of the recipe booklets that I got, some of them just were kind of suspect. I'm like, I don't know about all of that, And it made me want to do deep dive into this as a blogger. And so I decided to do exactly that. I'm going to do some sharing here, guys. I decided to do exactly that. And so, hey, Nolans. And so that had me out looking. And I had a book club. And so as part of the book club, we started looking at recipe books. I'm going to go over here, Periscope. We started looking at recipe booklets. And somehow I ended up with a couple of them. One of the ones I bought, I was like, this is not a standard family book. It's more of an entertaining book. One had a bunch of Southern recipes. And you know what? I think we're losing a little bit of that simply because the advent of social media. There's, unless we truly bring in some traditions, and I think traditions are getting lost out there because we are inundated with the opportunity to see what each other is doing. Like you can easily pick up my habits, I can easily pick up your habits, and yet we could be in two different parts of the world. And used to be, society was concerned about bridging those gaps, right? So, because what's going to happen, how many of you travel now? As you notice, as you travel now, it's so hard to, when you go different places, it's so hard to get back to the culture of a city. You go, like I hate when I'm traveling and all I see are the same chain restaurants that in the populated areas. Because a lot of times you go to a conference or a convention, it's like, I don't want to eat at the same chain restaurants that I have at home. I want to go to something that's indigenous to that part of the area, right, or that part of the culture. Hey, B-Dub, what's going on? And it's getting harder and harder to find that. It's getting so hard to do that. Because I know even when you go to New York and Times Square, and everybody that goes to New York, you can't wait to get to Times Square, but then you get to Times Square, and all you see is like a bunch of Dunkin' Donuts and a bunch of TGI Fridays. You're like, wait, what the hell? Where the true Italian? Well, you got to go to the different boroughs and off the beaten path to really get to that, to get to, like I know here in the neighborhood, I think somebody reopened one of the older, what used to be one of the older bowling alleys. So now you get a family-owned business again. I love family-owned businesses and so forth. So I know you can't see me make bread. So what we're gonna do is do the math. Do the math. Gotta do the math. So let me get that shared. And like I said, I'll go quiet because I get tired of talking. I'm gonna tell you, I get tired of talking. And I'm coming off of a cold, so I'm like, oh. All right. Let me grab what you guys are mostly familiar with and talk about the lemonade. And this is, remember I always say you can get a third pitcher of lemonade out of your lemonade? Well, this is my third pitcher. This is where I just simply added water, because once I drank all my lemonade, I had all that fruit in there. And remember, we did a second batch. Hey, Zoe, we did a second batch of lemonade. Zoe, this is talking about the lemonade. We did blackberry lemonade to start, which is why now it's pink lemonade. I'll bring it closer so you guys can see. See how I have all that fruit in there? So we have our, now it's pink lemonade. because we're at the end of the lemonade, I'm going to sit that over here. I'm going to actually pour me a glass. I had a glass somewhere. So I'm going to pour a glass of lemonade. And it still got some lemons in it, still got some blackberries in it. It's actually got some extra lemons in it because I had that second batch of lemons and I just made a quick batch of lemonade and I added that to it. So drink that. And then at the end, the third batch, normally by now, I'm like, wait a minute. I normally would have gone yesterday and bought some lemons, but I didn't get a chance to get out. My nose wants to run, so let me find my tissues. I'm like, wait a minute. I did not shop. I had to do my hair yesterday. If you guys notice, my hair's not exactly red anymore. Going into the spring, I had to change up my hair color yesterday. So it's not fire red now, it's a nice kind of brown. It's a basic brown. But that's why I said, don't be afraid to reconstitute or dilute it. I can't figure out which one of those words I want to use. But don't be afraid to add water because it's real fruit, and because it's real fruit, and you'll notice if you make it the first time, you'll probably say it's real tart or real potent or real strong, and so don't be afraid to add water to it. I add water at the end. I add water at the end because I like drinking that strong juice, but you can always do this. So I had all those lemons in there, and what I normally do looks like it's red and brown. Yes, it is. It's brown on the sides. Remember the top part was a fireball red. Your hair on the sides and top are nice. Thank you. It is two-tone. It's still two-tone because I just basically just did brown all over. And so now the top is kind of like an auburn. My mother used to love that color. An auburn and then dark brown on the sides. And I colored it because I want to try and let it grow in. And I'm going to try and go back to work. That kind of thing. So, there's a couple of things on my spring agenda that I just kind of needed to tone it down a bit. If that makes any sense at all, right? So yesterday was that day. I have like a non-step process, a non-step agenda that I'm putting in action as I go back on some things of some travel I'm going to do. Good luck with your endeavors. Thank you so much. Who's that? I don't have my glasses on. Hey, DOJ ATI. I hope that's not the bot, but yeah, I got some endeavors on the home front, and I'm going into territories where things are a little bit more normal than I've been able to enjoy them. So I'm still shocked at how good this is on the third batch. This is the third batch of lemonade. The third batch is probably what you would, and it's got a lot of pulp in there. So all the pulp is out. And you know what? As a matter of fact, all the pulp is not out. It's still, I can see the lemons. The lemons still have a lot of pulp in there. But that pulp is what's giving me the good flavor. So, but I'm sitting here thinking it's Wednesday. I'm like, I didn't go to the store. I have not. Is it sweetened? It is sweetened. Did you have to add more sugar? When I diluted it, yes, I did add more sugar. I did add more sugar. Some poppers sound good too, just thinking. What do you mean poppers? What did I miss? I missed something? Hold on. Popovers. Oh. You know what? And I bought this little thing. Uh-oh, it's getting, my drawer's getting thick again. My daughter, uh-oh, it's open in there. Hold on. Uh-oh, it's in there. It's opened up. Hold on. I bought this gadget. Where is it? Where's the top of it? Hold on. Okay. I bought this little gadget. The junk drawer. My daughter has tossed everything, apparently. I was wondering when she came in, she goes for a cleaning spree, and the counter was clean. So where she put all that stuff? She stuffed it in the drawer. So I bought one of these, and we never did. You know what? I will tell you guys. I don't want to put that back in there. I'll find another place for it. I was so excited the other day. Let me show you guys this. I was so excited because, hold on, every time I try to go back to a place where I think I left something, I have to go hunt for it. I was so excited. This is, for some reason, we started receiving these Food Network magazines, okay? But remember when I had my girlfriend over and we couldn't figure out what it was called. It was called a NAN, N-A-A-N. And I don't yet know, because I don't hear how this stuff is pronounced unless I go and look at a video or if I ask. And I don't want to say it Siri right now because in every device will go. We made those up. Right. Well, I was opening up the magazine, and lo and behold, there is a brand. You can buy those in the market. And I was like, what? But here's how excited we were. Because remember, we thought ours looked kind of odd, right? Look at that. We made those, and I was like, girl, I had to screenshot that and take her a picture, send her a picture. Take her a picture. I had to send her a picture of that because this is what we actually did with it. Remember we made the tuna chalupas. We could only think that it reminded us of chalupas, right? And I was so excited because I was like, what we thought came out wrong actually came out perfect, and they sell them in the store. And it was like, what? Because as I was frying them, I was like, that can't be right. Because I thought they were going to look flat like tortillas and so forth. What not tortillas? What are the shells? And ours look exactly like that. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then when I saw this, because this is exactly how we served ours. We ate ours like that. We couldn't wait. We were so hungry because bread making takes such a long time. We were so hungry. We were like, honey, we were trying to do tuna melts. And, man, that was exciting because that let me know. I was like, wow, this thing is real. Okay, so let's get going. All right, so I was talking about the scale. Greetings, everyone. Hey, Miss Shawana, how are you? So, one of the things that we did was, on that day we had such a hard time figuring out the recipe, trying to cut down the recipe. So I finally went out and got a scale. So I think this is why I didn't do any shopping. Because I have like a budget. I have a budget on exploring all these things. I bought this little dish because you guys know I like to set up my ingredients. And I don't have any flours this week. So we're not going to use flours this week. We're going to use pasta. So I want to put the pasta in there. I'll just put pasta over here. So I'm going to take out my mug and we'll put pasta there for the photos. Because you guys know while I'm live streaming, I still try to make a video. I love your apron. Thank you so much. You can get the aprons at Hobby Lobby. I got this apron at Hobby Lobby. And we changed over from the denim apron because I wanted something lighter for spring. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, I love change of seasons. I love the change of seasons because, I just love to change up. I love change. And I'm a Scorpio. We adapt very well to change, and I just love change. So, actually, I went to go get another denim apron. I think the day she was coming over, I was like, let me go make another apron. And they were out of denim aprons. And the denim aprons are really good quality. But I started kind of using this for crafts. And then I wanted this one as this one, because when you work with the flour, it was like I was having to wash this thing like every day. But this one, it doesn't really hold all of that. So, and plus, I just really love it. You can tell I've got the burlap a couple of places. You can't sit on that video. But, when we pan and go, and I usually have you guys long ways. I'm glad I don't, but anyway. I just love burlap. I think burlap is so great. We have an antique store in the neighborhood, and somebody has a booth that has all these burlap coffee bags, and as soon as I figure out what I can do with them, I'm going to buy some. I need one of the denim ones for when I do my oil painting. Yeah, they're only like $6. They're only like $6. Then I take it to the mall and have it embroidered. So definitely, go to Hobby Lobby, and they have them at Michael's, but the Hobby Lobby ones are they have the pockets and they're a little bit longer. The ones at Michael's are they don't have pocket. They have one with a pocket, but the Hobby Lobby ones are probably a little bit bigger, a little bit more sturdier. Um, and definitely the denim that's some heavy duty denim. It's not even like a cheap lightweight denim. It's some real heavy duty. So that way, because I know like for me, what you're gonna do artistry, if you're gonna like really use the pockets are really good and sturdy. Even this one now, this one is really very lightweight. It looks good on camera too. It looks good with the red. The denim, I was worried about the red showing up, but does show up pretty good. But the denim is really good. It's just that working with the flour, it really makes a mess. It took on like all of the flour at the end of the day. Whereas this one, I could just brush the flour off, and I don't have to wash it every day. And I have put them both through the wash. And that's another thing too. They come out of the wash really good. That one's been washed several times, and again, like I said, it's really a heavy denim, heavy denim. So anyway, okay, all right. So back to this loaf here. You guys know we hang out, we talk. In the process, we try and make something. Using the scale, I'll be able to cut this recipe in half easily because I'm going to use the grams. So repeat where you have them embroidered. There's a guy in the mall. They don't do them but anyway, you can take them any place. But here we have a guy in the mall that has the t-shirt place. He does the iron-ons and the press-ons and all that, and he does embroidery for the caps, the baseball caps. So any of the shops, like you see the baseball caps, you could take it in and they just do it, and it's usually like $10. Yeah. So I take a $6 apron, embroider it. And I usually give these like when I go to make appearances and things like that. Like I did a live version. I was invited to go live on stage, and so those that were there, I went and got like maybe 4 aprons made. I think I had 3 guests to come into the kitchen, cook with me, and so I had aprons made for everybody. So they went home with apron that says I went live with DryerBuzz. And so we're looking to do more of that. It's hard to do right now because we were invited to do it at a theater, and they are fully in the fold of their season right now. So it's hard to go live on stage. But for spring, I also have an event. Like I'm gonna make appearances all summer. That's starting up, and I'm gonna wear aprons. I'm gonna be cooking at some of the festivals and so forth. But I'm going to be I'm developing the talk that goes along with this because I'm not doing this to become a cook or a chef. I don't feed people. I don't sell what I make, but the talk is, this is how I survived trauma. I went through some trauma, and coming into the kitchen brought back my sanity, okay? Lingling Gaming, welcome in. So I'm going to be doing that at a lot of the festivals over the summer. You'll be able to come into my booth and experience some stuff. And so that's why I got to get this bread done so you can experience bread making. I am going to make a loaf. This is the goal today. Now, I won't be able to make it fully on the live stream. What we're going to do is go through the ingredients and get that bread making. Yes. And it's always interesting, this book is full of recipes. How many recipes are in this book? 63 recipes. And it's so fascinating to me that there are 63 recipes. All of the bread looks different, it tastes different, but they're all made with the same ingredients. All you know is bread. All you make is bread. All you talk is bread. I respect it. Okay. Thank you. So, believe it or not, it is water, yeast, all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour. Now, we're going to use the recipe calls for 504 grams of water, 462 grams of flour, whole all-purpose flour, 238 grams of whole wheat flour. And so total is 700 grams of flour. That's a lot. I don't even want that much. So, and that's literally for the cups. That's literally like about four and a half cups of flour. And you know me, I don't like to go over 3. I don't even like to use 3. I like using a cup and a half. And so what I want to do, first of all, is cut that in half, and that's going to get me back to 2 cups. So what I'm going to use is 2 cups of flour. So what we're going to do is take the 462, you know, that's going to give us 231 right there, right? See how easy the math is when you use the grams? If I was doing the cup, I would try to do the math on 3 1/4 cups. Like it says, 3 1/4 cups plus 1 teaspoon. So that's like crazy, which is why we want to do it this way. Let me grab my measuring bowl here. So one thing I want to get back to, you don't want to spend too much time away from, is making the pasta. Because once we figured out how simple it was to make the pasta, if you wait too long to go back into pasta making, it's almost like starting from square one again. So I know I'm going to end up with probably about 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to go with this bowl. And I still can't figure out like why this thing doesn't call for any egg. That's the hardest thing. I'm like, well, if I use egg and milk, then it's cake, right? If I add egg and milk to this, because the pasta is literally flour and egg. And this is part of that journey of learning how each culture does this stuff. But I'm still out of my mind that this is literally flour and water. Never mind the yeast. It's literally flour and water is a loaf of bread. Remember we talked about that? We said, okay, flour and egg, that's pasta. Flour and water, that's bread. It's like, that's crazy to me. But yet, now think about it. It's flour and water, and chemistry is mad, right? It's flour and water, but think about what Hispanic culture would do with flour and water, right? Think about what Italian culture, what African American culture. I mean, everybody had the same ingredients, and yet it's insane that that's flour and water. How have you ever looked at that and realized that that's flour and water? That's literally flour and water with a little bit of yeast. I swear to you, flour, water, salt. That huge loaf of bread right there, which is what we're hoping to make. And that's insane. That's insane to me. All of these recipes, that's literally what it is. Some of them toss in a little bit of a herb, a leaf. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. Okay, so this is what I'm going to measure in. So what I'm going to put that on my scale, and my scale tells me, let me get that back to grams. Okay, my scale tells me that. So we're gonna weigh that. Okay, so that's 80. This thing, oh, I already had it set. Okay, so we take that back to 0. So you put your measurement, your measuring tool on there. You tare it, which means it's gonna and I hope I'm saying that right. I need to go and listen to some stuff so I can get these languages, because it's I'm telling you, it's interesting. So I get that back to 0, so that way when I start measuring, I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is I need to find my measuring stuff, which is actually in the dishwasher. So my bowls, I'm gonna get my bowls out here because we used some of our measuring stuff the other day. I don't think I'm gonna need that one. And guess what I don't need? I don't need my measuring cups. And guess what else I don't need? I don't need my measuring spoons. Oh my God. I'm telling you. This right here. Oh, I'm still going to use it because I'm going to use it to, I'm going to grab one of these just to grab the flour out of the thing, so we got one of those. All right, but I don't have to sit there and fight and do the math. 231. It says 462 grams of all-purpose flour. So we know immediately we want to cut that in half to 231. So I'm going to go ahead and measure 231. And I don't have a bowl. I'm going to go right into the mixing bowl there. Do I need a picture of this? I don't think I need a separate picture or anything. Because I'm thinking about, guys, you guys know that I am making a YouTube video of this. Now, this bread called for a starter. It's a fermented bread. So it called for me to make a smaller version of those ingredients and leave that at room temperature. I told you guys I had somebody got to put a battery in for me. Hold on just a second. Hey. Thank you.
Which one is it?
The one in the back. Not straight back, but the bedroom. I'm live.
Hello? Hello? Oh, this one?
That. This other one's blinking. Does that mean anything? Okay. Hush, Miami. Alright, so we're getting the smoke detectors checked. Because, you know, they hadn't gone off in a minute. You know, we normally set off a smoke detector. Alright, so we're going to, this one had me do something called, it was a starter. And we're going to learn what to do with that. So I had to make a miniature one. So this is supposed to be fermented. So it had to sit for 24 hours. So that's why you got to, like, read your recipes all the way through before you start. So you don't be like me, like, we used to rebuke the recipe. So I had to read the recipe all the way through. And it said that I needed to do that 18 to 24 hours prior to even making this because I'm going to use a portion of that. And then we come back and we start this. And because it said go to page 100 and do that. 24. He's testing the thing. And then we're going to look through and read through all these steps. Lightly oil spray. A deep 4.5 to 5 quart ceramic glass bowl. Ceramic or glass bowl. Where's my glass bowl? I think it's in here. Because what you need something to put your dough in to let it rise. So we're gonna do that. So there's that bowl. Getting all my utensils together. I'm going to oil that. Put the bigger in a bowl or stand mixer. Fit it with the paddle attachment. Add the water yeast, and mix on low speed. Okay. Or until the starter is broken up and the mixture appears frothy for about 30 seconds. And you need to read through these because trying to go step by step, you need to know what you got to do. In a medium bowl, whisk together the flour and the salt, so it wants that to go together. Add to the bigger mixture, pulse a few times on the lowest setting to keep the flour from flying out of the bowl. Then mix on low speed for 3 minutes to combine. Remove the paddle attachment, scraping any dough. He's testing the things. Good? Okay, good. So that's not going to go off at 2 a.m. anymore.
You good.
Oh, hallelujah. That thing had me up last night. It's like,
So, usually when you see the light blinking on it, all you got to do is press that button.
Okay.
But unless you
And
do
it'll do that, what you just did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll do the test for the whole,
Okay.
your whole apartment.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, man.
Thank you.
When you gonna make us lunch?
Oh, y'all got to stop. I'm serious. I have so much food in here. I have to invite y'all by one day.
Yeah.
What do y'all like? What do you like?
Every time I come by, you're always cooking. I'm like, oh.
You would be surprised how much food I have.
Oh,
Like today, I'm just baking bread.
Oh, wow.
But this week, I'm gonna do a French onion chicken. It's like chicken with cheese and all that. And then I'm gonna do a pasta with peppers and onions. All right, I'll let you know. Okay, now I know who to feed. I said now I know who can eat it.
Yes.
All So now we have an invitation. We can feed some folks, y'all. Okay, let's see. Well, those smoke alarms are really working fine now. That's for sure. I know. I'm sorry about that because they go off at 2 a.m. when the battery gets low. Because you know how some people are streaming and you can hear their smoke alarm in the background. Well, those don't do that. Where they chirp like during the day a few times you get your batteries in. And the thing about it is they're so high up that I could, last night, I was trying to stack stuff so that, and y'all, I'm only 5'2", okay? I can't reach it, and I'm like, I gotta literally have somebody come and change out these batteries, because they're not like low, they're high ceiling, the ceiling's not that high, but they're at the top of the ceiling, and I couldn't reach it. I'm like, so anyway, he was like, okay, when are we gonna eat? Because they always see all this stuff going on in the kitchen. And I think that's good. I will make them a meal because, like I said, sometimes if it's my meals are too gourmet, the family won't eat it. Y'all will be surprised. Well, y'all have seen me clean out that fridge. You see how much food I have left. So I'm excited to fix lunch for somebody. So anyway, okay. So back to what we're doing. And guys, if you want to see like the whole kitchen, I do run a kitchen cam on YouTube. Like you guys are just seeing like the portrait version. But if you want to like ever just watch, usually I run a kitchen cam, just letting people just kind of watch what's going on in the kitchen. Sometimes it has audio, sometimes it doesn't. But today we're making, he just made my day, did he not? Okay, so anyway, all right, so we're reading through the steps on this. In a medium bowl, whisk together the flour and the salt, add to the bigger mixture, and pulse for a few times. And the Lord said to keep the flour from going everywhere. Then mix on low for 3 minutes to combine. See how quick that is? Remove the paddle attachment, scraping any dough from the paddle back into the bowl, and scrape down the sides of the bowl. The plastic scraper. Fix the mixer with the dough hook, and I don't have my dough hook, so that's when I have to take it out and just kind of knead it, which is the exciting part about it. And mix on low for about 5 minutes. The dough may try to crawl up the stem of the dough hook. If it does, turn off the mixture, scrape it down. I really gotta find it. And the frustrating part about these mixers is they have so many versions of them and so many different sizes of the hooks. And so I was supposed to take it back, and they never had any red in, so I couldn't necessarily take it back. I gotta find a replacement for the dough hook. I need a replacement dough hook because my daughter, again, in her cleaning spree, threw out the box. All right, so, flour the work surface using the bowl scraper, turn out the dough, and knead. Oh, well, you know, we do have the hand one. We can do it with the hand mixer. Hey, Coach Michelle, what's going on? So we'll use the hand mixer. So I'm going to grab that so we can do that. Because that does make a difference, y'all. Let me see. Because again, my pantry has been reorganized. I love my child. Look, what is this? This is not the mixer. This is the sandwich maker. I didn't even know I had a sandwich maker. I thought this was the mixer. Okay, wait. Here we go. Y'all should see this pantry. Oh my God. All right, so we're gonna go with the hand mixer for that 5 minutes because the attachment that I should have on there that I don't have, because what's gonna happen is it's going to end up becoming too much for the paddle. The paddle, you're gonna use that just for 3 minutes, and then you go to the dough hook. I don't have a dough hook, so we're gonna go with. I'm getting everything together, guys. So I'm gonna go with the hand mixer to that bowl. That's what it wants. It wants to just knead that for 5 minutes. So we'll use that. All this for bread, water, and salt. Bread, water, and salt. Don't ever say you can't feed somebody. Honey, wait a minute. What? Oh, let me grab the wheat flour. All right, so we're going to use I'm surprised how much wheat flour I've gone through. So we're going to need the wheat flour. Okay, so we're going to go, after we do that for 5 minutes, If it does, turn off the machine. See, the dough may try to crawl up the thing, turn it off, scrape down the dough, and continue to knead. Flour the work surface using a bowl scraper. Turn out the dough and knead a few times. It will be sticky. Place it in the bread bowl. Cover the bowl with a lightly oiled or sprayed piece of plastic wrap and place in a warm, draft-free spot. See creating your warm spot, page 17. To proof until the dough is very puffy and has tripled in size, 2.5 to 3 hours. This is why you cannot do bread baking. Even though I can talk that long, because I've done talk radio, I will not keep you guys that long. Flour the work surface, turn out the dough using the bowl scraper. Press out the dough, gather the edges, and roll to pre-shape. See photos on pre-shaping. Let sit for 10 minutes. All right, so this is what we're going to end up with. Where's our shaping? It says see pre-shaping on page 45. So that's why I love this book, y'all. Love this book. And this is a difference. This is another stark difference. This is why the bread, even though all the breads have the same freaking ingredients, how they shape it has a lot to do with it. The pan that it's cooked in, same ingredients. There's nothing different about these ingredients than with the pizza dough. I think the pizza dough probably had a little oil, had a little oil to it. So that's just weird, right? Isn't that weird? That's amazing is what it is. And what's the culture? There's a religion and a culture that talks about how long the bread lasted or how many people it fed and so forth. We take so much for granted, y'all. Okay, I'm not going to go down that road. But we take so much for granted. And we're at a place now. Let me share this with you guys. I shared a story. I saw a news story yesterday that involved the county that I live in, and it said that this particular county will start providing a third meal, a dinner meal in school. And one for one, when kids go to school, within the first 3 hours of the day at school, they're having lunch. They have breakfast when they get there, and then because how many students are in schools now, lunches start so early so they can get everybody fed during the day. Well, this particular county, on this chat, there was some funding available, and so the school system went after the funding to the point that they can now feed dinner, have dinner, serve kids dinner. But when you think about it, and the first thing that everybody went to, and there are a couple people that are upset. In fact, I said when I shared it, I said, there are people on here that are mad. I mean, literally mad. But I never understand how. Okay, I don't understand how, because I have volunteered in the school system. I had a program that I used to have in the school system, right? I've done a lot of stuff. You guys know this conversation. And so, I feel like I got hair on my face now. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm distracted. I feel like something's on my face from the towel. Okay, so what they've done, I don't know. Let me tell you. First of all, I raised 4 kids. Okay, so I have been at every level of the school system. So I'm not just talking as an outsider. Okay, I'm talking from daycare, pre-K, elementary school, middle school, high school. I was that parent. I was there involved. Even when I couldn't be there, we delegated somebody in the family to be involved in schools. Never were we detached from what was going on in the school system. I was involved in schools that my children didn't even go to. Okay, trying to get those schools up to par that I could send my kids there. So I know what's going on in the school system. And first of all, I do understand I never enter into a conversation for which I don't know what I'm talking about. I always know what I'm talking about. I prep myself. I love research. I prep myself. Kind of glad those days are over. Zoe, I am so ecstatic those days are over. But I'm still thinking about re-involving myself in the school system, especially now that I don't have kids there. But, you know, So when they shared the article on the news site, now this particular news channel is deeply rooted in Atlanta's racism. Okay, their viewing audience is. If you ever want to find out what the races are, watch their channel. That's just what it is. It's old Atlanta, and they haven't died off yet. They still watch that channel. And then too, it's deeply rooted in politics. So, you get your liberal and your conservative conversation, and it never really gets to the heart of the matter, right? And I'm like, so when I posted it to a group, I'm in a group of women of the county, right? And so I posted, I said, y'all want to share this? I said, but beware, you have to let people know. If you're going to read the comments, people are mad that this is happening because everybody looks at it like a government handout. It's not a government handout. It's a foundation that recognizes there's a crisis in our country where children are hungry, regardless of the parent income, okay? It's like, I don't care where you are. If you can't get, your child has to spend 6 to 7 to 8 hours a day out of your care. Somebody else has to provide their nutrients and their meal, the supplements and all that kind of stuff, right? So I shared it. Let's see, they'll never die off. That's generational from teaching. Yeah, and that's the thing about it is, and it's a mindset that's going beyond race because it's going into this classism thing, and that transcends race, right? And the politics, that transcends race also, right? So I was like, oh my God, that's great because just think about the kids that are active, the kids that are on the football team. You got a child. Let's talk about the privileged ones first, okay? Let's not go to the poverty level, which is a crisis in this country. If you look at housing, we have so many people now that are living in extended stays. If you got a school bus, going to the hotels, okay? The hotel is a regular stop. We don't stop as a county, as a country, from a county or region and say, wait a minute, we're sending school buses to hotels? We have a regular stop at a hotel because that's the life. People are living week to week. But month to month, people are living week to week. People are living day to day. Okay? Some days, they're not in the hotel. Some days, these parents are having to get their kids to the hotels in order to catch their bus. We don't know where they stay. There are people living in their cars. So I shared it, and I was like, wow, great job to our county for leading the way on this and going after this funding. Because even if you think about your athletes, first of all, they're in school. Now, you want them to excel on these teams because everybody loves their teams, right? They go to school, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. They have breakfast then. Lunch starts between 10 and 11 a.m. School is not out till 3. But yet, they're going to stay at school another 2 or 3 hours for a practice or whatever sport or activities, right? And everybody knows, anybody that has a child, they come through the door, they go straight to the fridge. I know that for a fact. Because mine, I would listen, I would hear the bus, I'd hear the door, I would hear the fridge. Okay? And mine came home. That was it, right? Bus, door, fridge. And then I'd get a hello mom with a mouthful of food. Because they were hungry. They're young and they're growing. Now, mind you, yes, we do have families for which they get off that bus, they get in the door, and there's nobody there, there's no food there, and it's like, that's a crisis of our country, okay? And so people are mad. Well, this is a problem. Why are we letting parents? Why are we not considering this abuse? It's a crisis. It's a crisis, yes. You do have a population of people who cannot feed their families. And so there was a conversation where, I'm responsible for mine, and I'm, okay, fine. And you're talking about how hard you're having it. I don't understand why they can't see. It's like, well, and so one person was saying that, they have to take care of theirs, they have to be responsible, and they're having a hard time. Well, now you don't have to, just like they don't have to worry, you don't have to worry, because guess what? It's available to everybody. It's available to everybody. If a child, we're talking about children, we're not talking about adults. We're talking about children, but that's an age-old conversation. And then I was like, so it's going to help you, but because it's going to help others as well, you just rather not have it. I don't want to see a hungry child. I don't want to see a hungry child. And I know what hunger looks like. I've seen these children. and they can't perform. And we got college kids out there that get scholarships. I would never forget, I was at a panel discussion with a history maker, and she was one of the first black ballerinas, and she talked about having the scholarships to go to all this, the height of ballet. And she said, even though she had scholarship, her family, she still didn't have a place to live and barely ever ate. And I'm like, wow, we don't think about that. But let me say that while that little bit of negativity is going on out there, let me say that I love how overwhelmingly people were excited that our county was leading the way on this, and how many people are going to be helped by it. Me either. Hunger is something, number one in life. It is such a prevalent problem because our community, so many food pantries have popped up, and I know, you got those that, you got like, oh man, we gotta get a Whole Foods, and and I know about economic development, and I know we want all this stuff in our community, but it's like, okay, y'all want a Whole Foods in the neighborhood, but we got like 5-6 food pantries in the neighborhood. So like, and let's figure out why we needed so many food pantries. Because as a blogger, on Saturday mornings, I'm out driving the neighborhood, blogging, and I'm like, whoa, what's this? And I go up and they're like, it's a food pantry. I'm like, what are these people in line for? These are our neighbors. These are our neighbors. And when we shade and shame resources, they're going to be those that are going to turn this down simply because I'm like, there are people out there. The number one reason a person does not eat is shame. It's not because they can't. It's not because they have no resources. It's simply because they're so worried about what somebody's going to say. There's a family out there, and they may be living right next door to you. They may have 2, 3, 4 cars in the garage. They may have the best job ever. But what I do know, the facts show, is that in America right now, there are more people, regardless of how many zeros are in their net worth, at 30 days, everybody's back at 0. Okay? That's a lot. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that going on that in 30 days, hey, Drea, in 30 days, regardless of income, too many Americans are back at 0. We just watched the government shut down. And let me tell you, during the government shutdown, all these pantries, they emptied. They absolutely emptied out. And just because they're back at work, think about it, now they're playing catch up. Some of them got retro pay, some of them didn't. Some of them were just laid off. We got to learn to be, even if you can't be empathetic or sympathetic, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Let them feed these children, okay? That stigma has alleviated like mental health amongst many of us blacks especially. It does, and it is a stigma. And that's the conversation, and I get invited to the table a lot in talking about community organizing and dealing with poverty situations. And a lot of it, because when you think about it, he's threatened to shut down again. Exactly. Because it was only a 3-week deal. It was only a 3-week deal, and they still gave him a plan that did not include anything to deal with the border security. And that's the thing that I don't think about it, because if he wanted to, and this is why you have to fault Congress just like you're following Trump. And the man just wants a security budget, okay? Yeah, he wants a legacy of a wall and the smart wall and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, if he wanted to go to war, they would sign off on that in a minute, because the companies that they are invested in are friends, that they have friends that are invested in it. They'll sign off, they'll give him $50 billion for that, right? If he wanted to go to war, thank God, he's not a war president. But if he wanted to go to war, Pelosi and all of them, Democrats or conservatives, whatever other Tea Party, whatever extremes, they sign off on that in a heartbeat. They give him billions for that. Guns, and we're talking about, let the man have a wall. Yeah, it's a money thing. It's a money thing, and only because it's something that they're not invested in, only because it's a promise. It's actually a promise that he made to the steel mill and that part of the country and so forth. You know, because it's not something we ain't rolling out a bunch of steel. We're rolling out a bunch of plastic. You know, so it's just one of his campaign promises, and I'm glad he's stuck on it, and I hope he stays stuck on it, right? I hope he stays stuck on that wall. And I mean, I'm like, at this point, he has what, a year left, right? He has a year left. Give him a little bit more money, right? We import everything, but this is something that's gonna be made in America. We ain't gonna go buy a wall from China, so let the man have a little bit of budget, right? So we can move on, you know, or hell, keep installing, but don't make Americans suffer from. I mean, why? I don't understand that. You know, people are like, why are you making bread? Because look, it's 3 ingredients. It's people out there. It's the history. It's the history of our country. You know, I don't know. Did I just get political? I mean, I can't understand people being mad about feeding children. Political power that includes money too. He should go into his pockets to build it. He could possibly write that check. He could definitely get funding for it, but I mean, as a president, he's like no every other president. They have promises that they made, and this is one he wants to hold up to. That's his thing, you know. The past president, he was giving billions to third world countries without a heartbeat. You know, everything that was signed off in America got a couple of millions, but billions of dollars went out of the country. I'm telling you, and that goes back to all of them. You know, it's too much like right. But it shows the hypocrisy because they want to stand firm on this, and we're letting them stand firm on it and suffering for it, you know, and probably couldn't write it off. But people are suffering for it, you know. But I'm glad he's fixated on the wall, and I hope he stays fixated on the wall. And if he gets in there a second time, hey, stay fixated on the wall, because we could be in a much worse place. All right, y'all want to measure some ingredients, or we keep talking. This is how we do kitchen cam. All right, so we're going to break this down. 462 grams of all-purpose flour. We're going to cut that down quickly to 231. And so we got our scale here, so we're going to go ahead and put 231 grams of flour. I'm cutting this in half. Now that is 100. So basically about 2 cups of that. Let's see what we get with this. That's 210. Isn't that easy? So much easier, y'all, than trying to get some cups. 227. Hell yeah. 239. Then I'm hearing that it might be another government partial shutdown soon. I think it is. 231. Oh, don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? I'm excited. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I need to take my picture here. So I'm just going to dump my flour. No, I'll tell you what, we'll keep it in a bowl. We'll use another bowl. So there's that one. We know that the wheat flour, I was surprised that in most of the recipes, I did switch. Y'all notice I transitioned there, right? I got it all out, and then I went back to the baking part, right? Did everybody get it all out? Did you make your starter dough? Yes, starter dough is here, and apparently we're gonna dilute this with the liquid from the rest of it. So there's the starter dough. It's been fermenting, but I'm surprised in all the recipes. I thought wheat bread was just 100% wheat, and I have made some 100% wheat. But for most of the recipes in here, they still start with all-purpose flour, and then you add a little bit of wheat flour to it. Like, say, for instance, that's going to be 231 grams of all-purpose, and then we're going to go ahead and drop down to 238 grams of wait, did I do my yeast? I gotta get some more. I'm wondering, let me see, is that more yeast? Or no, because I gotta use more yeast. All right, so 119. 119 of whole wheat flour. So we're going to get 119 grams of whole wheat flour. I would have thought something made of wheat would have been more wheat and with a little bit of all-purpose in there. Wait a minute. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I was like, why is that not, hold on, guys. I gotta change out my measurement. I forgot to change the, weight, subtract the weight of this. So let me do that. Get that back to 0. What is it doing? Oh my God, it's everywhere. Something on it? Okay, wait. Hold on. Everything off the scale. Stop. Okay, grams. Let me get a measurement of that. Okay, back to 0. You have to get that back to 0. I was like, I know I got more in there than that. Okay, now we need what I said, 131. Wait, 119. We need 119. All right. 119. It's like it kept jumping from grams to kilograms to ounces. What is going on? You might as well stop moving, honey, because that's all they're putting in. All right, so then we got our 119 of that. All right. And I guess I'm not going to be able to use my little dish here. Get the lemonade out. And then we need 8.5 grams of yeast. I need to add some yeast to my shopping list. I think I'm going to end up getting another scale. Hey there, first super. Thank you so much, Gabrielle. Welcome, JJ. I don't think these measure too well. Where's this little one? I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use the thinner one. I don't think that measures too well. So we're gonna go about 9 grams. Oh wait, we gotta cut. I normally don't cut the yeast in half, but I don't want to not use. I try not to cut the yeast too much because you still need that. I still need it to rise. And I just find that like when I cut the whole recipe in half, if I cut the yeast in half, I don't get a good result. So we're gonna go with that. All right, so there's our yeast, and then we need 14 grams of salt. So clearly, right, but if I cut the yeast in half, then I don't get the rise. It's every time if I cut the yeast, it just doesn't seem to do well. All right, so then 14 grams of salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put some salt in there. I know that the salt is my 2 1/4 teaspoons. So we'll do that. Let me get a little picture of this. I got flour everywhere. All right. So, I mean, that's literally it. So we should have a total of 350 grams of flour. So we got our starter bigger, which we need 140 grams of that. So and this is going to mix in. So now let's weigh that, bring that back to 0. This is interesting. This is too interesting right here. So I'm going to need 140 grams of this, which I'm actually going to dilute. It's real sticky. But this is a starter. And this, I can tell by the smell of it, it's going to kind of really give it that taste. Like that's half of what, wait, that's actually half. Okay, so instead of 40, I need 140, I need 70. Look, that's perfect. I was like, wait a minute, I need half of that. So, and basically it said if you're going to do a couple of days of baking, you would keep this in the fridge as your starter. So I only need 70 of that. This is going to go in with my water, which I need 504 grams, so that's 252. I need 252 grams of water. I might have to take another picture of that because I forgot about my water. So I'm going to need that, and now I need water. So it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. Keep feeding it. Also, explain that because it talked about that if you keep feeding it. If you're going to bake over a couple of days. That was mentioned. I'm glad you said that. I gotta really learn what that means. I don't know. But it is in the lesson of it. It says if you're going to just bake one thing, you stop. But if you're going to use it over a couple of days, to keep feeding it. So tell us what you mean by that. Because I did read that. Alright, so now I need my water. And this needs to be a little warm. I'm just going to nuke it right quick. And my water is basically about 2 cups of water. And this is not big enough. And I'm actually using half. I only need 1 cup of water. Did I miss your feeding comment? So the water is about 2 cups plus 2.5 teaspoons, 540. So I'm going to cut that in half to 1 cup. 1 1/4 teaspoons, or 252 grams of water. So I think we're good. I think we're ready to go. You give it equal amounts of water and flour every 8 hours. I got you. I'm looking at the side of my hair, guys. I got conditioner in my hair, so pay my hair no attention. Okay. Did we finish reading all of our steps? I think we finished reading all of our steps, so we're pretty much almost good to go. So basically, we're going to dump this in the mixer. I don't want that to be too hot. All right, so we're going to dump that in the mixture. The starter goes in first. I still got to figure out my salt. Salt. 7 grams of salt. 1 1/8. Hey, Moose Runs, what's going on? I keep getting caught on this thing here. All right, so I need to oil this. Let me get a little oil in there, because this is what it's going to end up in. So we'll get that oiled. And I need to get me some plastic wrap. That's going to go on top of that. And then I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to go and get back on my task for the day. So follow me here. Let me see. All right, we got everything but my plastic wrap. All right, kitchen cam, y'all can see it all. Let me see. There we go. Is that plastic? Yeah, plastic wrap. Okay. All right, there we go. So we got our plastic wrap. Let me get this oiled so we can go into the bowl with that. This bread making smells so good, but I still don't understand when you pass by a bakery, not a bakery, but like even the large plant bakeries, how they always smell like butter, but I've yet to really come across a bread recipe that has butter, except for I gotta make those croissants one day. All right, so we get the scale out of the way. We're done with all of that. We got all of our measured. Everything's measured. Everything's ready to go. Put the water up here and get another picture of that. And then we're ready to go. Oh, I'm tired, y'all. I need a nap. Oh, that's gorgeous. Hold on. Get off of there. The salt is right here. I'm going to put the salt in. I'm just sharing on Instagram. make sure you guys follow on Instagram. I drop a lot of stuff on Instagram. And then too, for those of you that want to try some of these recipes that I do, so that you don't have to like fast forward and all that kind of stuff, I normally will put a 1 minute video, 1 to 2 minute video on my YouTube channel, and it's DryerBuzz on YouTube, and you can just go to DryerBuzzEats.com, and that'll take you right to YouTube. So definitely check those out. And then, of course, I have various pages on Facebook. The Eats page, DryerBuzz Eats, on Facebook, as well as DryerBuzz, regular DryerBuzz. Like I said, in between, if you go to my profile on Periscope and on YouTube, you're going to see, on Periscope, you see my Pink Scopes, which is a podcast I do in the mornings. And then in between those, you will see, oh, and there's a food group on. I love a food group. Let me see. Hold on. I have a food group. I'm in a food group on Facebook, which is absolutely awesome and amazing. I tell you what, I will share. Let me do that. I didn't think about that. Let me get them this link. All right. So now, okay, I know. Kiss it. What happened? Oh, I thought we froze. I was just standing there for a while. I was like, wait, what happened? Okay. All right. So back to we got our bowl. The bowl is ready for our loaf, which has to hang out for 2 to 3 hours, which is why you see you can't get the stuff done. Okay, so we light the oil spray. We put the vinegar in the bowl, the stand mixer, fill it with the paddle, add water and yeast, and mix on low speed until the starter is broken up and the mixture appears frothy for about 30 seconds. So the starter, and the starter is basically just some dough that hopefully I can get out of this bowl. But y'all, I tell you, there's something so exciting to get this. If you were that kid that loves to play in dirt, this is where you end up. If you have a kid that loves to play in dirt, this is where you end up. And it's so funny because I think about how many times as a kid I was clankering with this noise of the sounds of my kitchen. Okay, I'm making a mess here, y'all. I should have oiled myself. Why did I do that? Why did I oil my stuff? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Give me some oil. I about wiped all the oil off the bowl. This is hilarious. I'm learning. Keep in mind, not a chef. Not trying to play one on live stream. All right, so I'm sticky. Oh my God, I'm sticky. Y'all, this is insane. Okay, I should have used flour. All right, so good. Stop, just stop. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. All right, one more towel. Okay, so what we're doing is what? The water. Oh, Jesus. Okay, put the vinegar in the bowl, stand mixer, add the water, the yeast, and mix on low until it's broken up. Just pretend it's a mud pie. I know, right? So the water's going to go in. And right away, I get that nice cloud. The yeast is going to go in. And I'm going to mix that. Child. All right, this is gonna splash. It's always so amazing when you start. It makes you want to cry. So it starts looking like a milk, basically. All right, I want to bring you guys over. I don't know why I didn't do this before. Hold on. I think you're charged enough. Let's see. Is that better? Give me a test. I don't want you guys looking at the cabinet. I know you're looking at the cabinet, but I'll bring you down a little bit. Is that? Oh, that looks okay. Okay, good. All right. So what I do is I put the in there, and it's just mixing up. So hopefully we're doing pretty good. Good. Okay, good. All right. So that was the step. In a medium bowl, whisk together the flour and the salt. So basically we're just gonna mix the flour and the salt. Let me grab another bowl for that. Golly, another bowl. Y'all see that? Yeah, that should be in there. So basically we're just gonna mix together the flour and the salt. Let me get that in some water. Kitchen Cam, how you doing over here, guys? All right, good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is in here I'm gonna mix my flour and my salt. Let me get some pictures of that. This is me. This is OCD for me right there. Pour some in the mixture in the bigger bowl to get it. Wait a minute. Pour some of the mixture into the bigger bowl to get everything. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm trying to get some pictures. Pour some of the liquid into here. Is that what you're saying? Pour liquid. Oh, the liquid's already in there. The water and the yeast went in here. This is just mixing the dry ingredients. It just wanted me to whisk together the dry ingredients before I put them in there. So we're going to then pour this into there. Alright, in a medium bowl, whisk together flour and salt, add to the bigger mixture and pulse a few times on the lowest setting to keep the flour flying out, then on low speed for 3 minutes to combine. And then we're gonna, once it starts to combine, we're gonna then take this off and we're gonna go in with the hand mixer to get that, because what'll happen, it'll start shaking like an earthquake, y'all. I'll go low. See how fast that can y'all see that? See how fast that mixes? And I'm always scared right here because I'm new to this. What I will say is the wheat flour the wheat flour is a little bit more tame than, I think I probably got a little bit too much water. Let me scrape this down. I noticed the wheat flour functions a whole lot different than the all-purpose flour. It looks a little. Now keep in mind that this has got tripled in size. You're at sticky. Yeah, it's definitely sticky. But I'm supposed to take it now and go with the paddle. The what do you call the other one? All right, it said about 3 minutes on that one, and then now we're gonna go to. I'm gonna take the hand mixer too, because I don't have a paddle. I'm gonna put. I feel like I'm a little less on the flour. I feel like I'm a little wet. I think it's like too sticky. But I can just tell this is going to be a beautiful loaf. And just think, when we come back, it will have tripled in size, supposedly. Tripled in size. That's crazy. All right, so I'm going to scrape that down, and then we're going to. We got to go about 5 minutes with the other mixer. But I feel like it's. Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to be sticky until I turn it out. When I start to knead it, that's when I'm gonna like add in. It's gonna pick up some of the flour from the when I turn it out, and it won't. That's gonna take care of the sticky. But we gotta go about 5 more minutes on this, and on So we're gonna hit it off with a hand mixer here. Instantly, you can see there's a difference in the bread, in the loaf. And keep in mind, I'm only working with half. I'm gonna take it off here, sit it here so I can get down in it. Just a second, I'm gonna clean up. I want to make some room over here so I can turn it out. I've got a lot going on still. I definitely need to add some more yeast to my shopping list. And I put the rest of my starter into the fridge because I won't be making anything anytime too soon. I want to put you guys back over on the other side there. I'm going to put down a little bit of parchment since I have so much on the counter. I don't want to pick up any parchment. Oh, I can use my thing here. Look at that. We'll just use the cutting board. We'll just use the cutting board instead of the parchment. I know that's going to slide all over the place. All right, what is that oil? Top. Alright, let's go back in just a minute or so. It's amazing, y'all. This is absolutely amazing to watch this take place. Look, no wonder I needed more flour. They're going to have my flour, not half, but some of my flour on the thing there. Look, there's a mess over there. That's probably the teaspoon of flour I need to add back to it. All right, I'm going to take you guys back over. Bear with me here. All right, that's That's exactly the teaspoon of flour I need to add back to it. I just feel like it's so quiet, but and you know, we could have played some music on Periscope, but no, because I got YouTube running. I was gonna say I just feel like it's so quiet. The dog is probably back there like, what's going on in there? I'm surprised the dog is quiet. All right, I had to put him up so he wouldn't eat the guy changing out the berries. All right, what did I miss? What did I miss? Did I miss anything? My eyes are kind of off the screen. See that? Isn't that amazing? All right, so what we're gonna do, now we're gonna pour it out on here and put down a little bit of flour. And I'm gonna put out just a little bit, but I want to, basically, it's going to, we're gonna see the stickiness kind of go away. What did I do with the, oh, there it is. I hope you guys are having fun with me. Like I said, I'm a blogger, so I talk a lot. I don't just come in and make, but if you want to make this or any of the stuff that I'm doing, find the YouTube channel because I will do a 1 to 2 minute video of these different steps. So, and I did not get video of mixing that, but that's okay. We got enough of that. But there is nothing like getting your hands in this dough. I swear to you. There is nothing. Nothing compares to touching this dough. This will be my first kind of freeform loaf, fermented loaf. I keep having these first. It smells so good. It smells so good. What are you guys planning? Do you guys cook for Valentine's Day? Do you go out? I think last year, because we're right at a year of doing this. I think last year I made these loaded wedges. No. I made soup. We did the we did some Valentine's Day French onion soup. And we did a whole soup series last year. Now I remember. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't do that. I did soup last year. Because I bought these heart-shaped bowls. I don't know what it says for me to do. Flour the work surface using the bowl scraper. Turn out the dough. Knead it a few times. It will be sticky. Place it in your bread bowl. Cover with your plastic. Draft-free. Proof until the dough is ready and puffy. Triple in size. About 2.5 to 3 hours. Y'all, this feels so freaking good. Oh my God. This is such an accomplishment. I'm not adding too much flour because I'm just gonna it said knead it. Now keep in mind, can you guys see that? Everybody can see that? Keep in mind, I cut it in half. I would be working with double this if I didn't cut it in half. I cut it in half, and it's going to triple in size. So now you can see, knowing that this is going to triple, you can see why I made an attempt to cut it in half. Because can you imagine if I was working with 3 times the size of this, and it's going to triple in size? That's why I cut it in half. Because there's no way, especially, let me tell you, because if you're going to make fresh bread, staying in, we'll celebrate on the weekend for birthdays tomorrow, too, today. I don't like February. You know what? And my mother and my dad's birthday is February. My dad's February the 1st. My mom was February the 8th. My daughter is February the 27th. So I got 2 Aquarius and the Pisces, and then I got another daughter March 12th. Two Aquarius and 2 Pisces. So believe you me, I wholly understand. Just about every day, multiple birthdays. We're like that too. Everybody's birthday is either the beginning of the year. We got 3 in the beginning of the year. And then I'm not adding in flour, just real sticky. We got 3 at the beginning of the year and then 3 at the end of the year. So, all right. So again, just keep in mind, I cut this in half. I cut the recipe in half. It's going to triple in size, so we're still going to end up with a lot. In 3 hours, this is going to be rolled coming up out of the bowl. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just get me another picture here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bowl. I'm not going to do a lot to it. Let me oil this back up. I felt like I had wiped all the oil out of it. So, and that's it. And this is going to make bread. It's going to make a beautiful loaf. It smells so good. I'm just going to let that hang out. I got to cover it with plastic wrap. And then usually what I do, I cover it with plastic wrap and I put one of the towels over it. There's a whole chapter, not chapter, but a whole lesson in creating a spot for your bread to hang out. So that's it. Amazing. That much rising dough. It says it's going to triple because it needs to sit for like 2.5 to 3 hours. That's going to give me a chance to go and do all my other chores. And I got some blogging to do, some podcasting to do. And I tell everyone in April not to be so lovable. I know, right? Because my parents' birthday is in February. I was born in October. And all those Christmas babies, New Year's babies, honey, let me tell you, that spring fever, it comes back to you. Okay? So, let me get this covered up. I'm telling you, that's a lot of February babies. Oh, my goodness. But I hope you guys had fun. I know it's not, you don't get to see the finished product until later on. But that's bread making, and that's why I do this while I'm talking. I do this and I talk, I guess I should say. But if you're thinking about maybe baking bread, it's exciting. It is exciting. Again, flour, water, salt, and yeast. And if you look around, you can literally, from this right here, you can explore the entire world because everybody, every culture, every ethnicity does something with flour. And throughout this book, and I'll show you what I'm going to end up with, this is the loaf. That's the actual loaf that we're going to end up with. And you guys can see that over there on YouTube. So that's the actual loaf that we end up with. And all from just water, yeast, flour, all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, and salt. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. All right, guys, on that note, I'm tired. I am tired. I didn't mean to hang out that long. But we had some good conversations. If you want to go back, those of you that want to go back and catch the replay, wish I had the patience for baking from scratch. I barely cook regular dishes. Oh, it is a patience thing. Oh my God. But I got all day. I can't believe I waste that flour. And that's probably exactly what I just added back to it. But I'm telling you, I don't know. You do it, and see, I don't like to do a lot on the stovetop because I don't like to have to stand and babysit. That's why I do a lot in the oven. One of my daughters, she's one of those, she fries a lot of stuff. Each of us, we have ways and how we cook. But I don't like a lot of stovetop cooking because I don't like having, I have to stand here enough hanging out on this string. So I don't do a lot of stovetop. I'm gonna put it in the oven person all day. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cover that up and it'll hang out and leave it alone. And by the time I clean the kitchen, go do a couple other chores, maybe run an errand or two. But there's nothing like taking that out of the oven. Now I will tell you, one thing we've had to learn, and this one of the reasons I cut the recipe in half, is, you know what, that slow cooking, oh my God, let me tell you, I every time I try and start a crock pot dish, I end up putting it in the oven. My God. But keep in mind on your bread, guys, there's no preservatives. So it's not going to hang around all week. So that's why you don't want to make so much of it. And once you start making the recipes and things like that, you will start to overdo it because you know everybody gets overzealous on this stuff. And that's why I say you don't want to go out, you don't want to buy a whole bunch of stuff, you don't want to buy a whole bunch of gizmos. And so I got the mixer for Christmas. I'm so thankful for it because I was doing this stuff literally by hand. See, I just got flour all over me. But we have to eat this in a day or so because there's no preservatives in there, and bread goes bad. I know we are in this era where food lasts forever. That's one of the reasons why I love coming into the kitchen and baking and cooking now, because I don't want stuff that's going to last forever. I was watching a show the other day, and she said something about some food that won't go bad. And I was like, what? Something that won't rot. I was like, huh? And it's on the shelves. It's on the shelves at the grocery store. I don't know. I can't remember what they were talking about. But I watch a bunch of the weekend shows, and the weekend shows, and they were talking about that. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But a lot of the stuff, that's why it can sit in the fridge, and it can sit in the pantry, and that's why my freezer is empty, my pantry is empty, and you know these foods are full of preservatives. That's what I'm saying. So when you start cooking stuff homemade and from scratch, that's when you start to realize, like when I start going and buying organic fruits and vegetables and things like that, and I'm like, you know, the banana won't last, they don't last, but then you start to remember, and most people don't have that memory. They think that these things last that long. Like I bought, you know, I buy the fresh bouquet of flowers. Well, at one store, I buy the bouquet of flowers, and they literally last a day or two, right? I come back in on the third day, like that's why that cup is empty. I had to throw those flowers out. I would go get the flower basket at another store, and they almost last 2 weeks. Oh, that's what it was. On Steve Harvey's show the other day, they had this, what they call the only rose. They have a rose that lasts 365 days. I swear to you. So you can buy somebody, they were selling this teddy bear made out of roses that will last a year. A rose that lasts a year. I was like, wow. Wow. I'm telling you. It's like, hell, some of the relationships don't last that long. Now you mean tell me I got to look at this bear for a year? Okay? It's like the Valentine, the person ain't gonna be around for 6 months. Why am I gonna be looking at a rose that lasts a year? Hello there, how are you? I mean, I just think it's crazy. It's like, but that's what they were doing, right? It's like, how many y'all know y'all getting them Facebook memories from what you did last Valentine's Day? You mad because y'all ain't even together no more, or y'all still hanging in there, but y'all done totally changed, right? You may or you may not get anything for Valentine's Day. I'm telling you, it's something, guys. All right, but I'm tired. I'm going to go take me a nap while my bread rises. Again, guys, if you want, there's a 1-minute video out there on the lemonade if you want to try the lemonade. The other bread recipes, the other soups, salads. Oh, we have this festival season that's coming up. I did a recipe last year for those of you that will be going to like and I hate to use the word picnic. Okay, I'm sorry. Please, somebody come up with a better word. I always say cookouts, but if you're going to dine outside, we did an epic meal that you can pack up and take to the music festival. We call it the music festival meal. So that's coming up. All the festivals are going to start. Because I'm in Atlanta and we're full with festivals. See you on the next scope, hopefully. Yeah, I'm going to come back later on. When we come back to check, we'll do the reveal for the bread before we put it in the oven on the rise. But all the soups, if you're gonna do a homemade meal for two, somebody asked me yesterday. I think they're gonna make the stuffing, the pork chops, stuffed pork chops. They're making that for their loved ones. Somebody asked me for that recipe. Lots of people are doing the peach cobbler and the cast iron skillet. That one, oh my God, that recipe went viral like last week. So I'm really excited about that. It shows that a lot of people are starting to take notice, and we're so thankful for that. So a lot of people are doing the cast iron cobblers that we did. The spinach dip. Everybody loves the spinach dip. Everybody's doing the spinach dip. I mean, it's exciting, you know. So it lets me know that this was a cool idea, coming in and hanging out in the kitchen. It got me through a very rough time. Yeah, we talk, we hang out, we live stream, we keep the kitchen cam going, and we hang out for. But the shorter videos on anything that we've done. And let me tell you, that stuffing that goes in the pork chop was a corn kale stuffing, and it's really good. I need that cobbler recipe. It's on the YouTube. The cobbler recipe is on the YouTube and Facebook. If you follow the Facebook page, DryerBuzzEats is the Facebook page, you can see all the recipes are there. And after one of the things I will do when I get done is I always go and cut, because you see me taking pictures and video, and I'll go and cut those down and post those as 1 minute to 2 minute videos. I think the longest one that we had was probably, I think the pork chop one, and something else ended up being like, the brownie, one of the brownies we did in kind of almost like a real time, and that was like 8 minutes. But most of them, I try to get them in a minute so I can put them on Instagram, and also, and then the recipe and all of that. And I decided to go ahead and do maybe a magazine for spring. I don't want to really call it a full-on book, recipe or cookbook, because they're not really truly my recipes. But I'm picking like my favorite ones that make you feel like kind of like a chef kind of thing. So that's something I'm working on as well. But I got some other stuff I've got to do to get back to life. So, but again, I can't thank you guys enough for stopping in your day and watching. Thank you. And this, if you go back and look at the first video, like, that's the same kitchen. It's the same kitchen. But thank you guys just so much for keeping me company, because if I could turn these cameras on, I'd be here losing my mind. Anybody that's becoming an empty nester and wondering, you know, okay, what do you do with the rest of your life? And this is the element that's been part of my life for a very long time, live streaming. And so thank you for hanging out with me and allowing me to pivot and become and evolve, I guess I should say, become and evolve. So, all right, guys, bye. I'm gonna let you go. Kitchen cam, we're gonna restart the kitchen cam. Y'all can watch me clean up, and then that'll be a silent video because I'm gonna turn on some music and get this kitchen clean and let our dough rise. I'm gonna watch some TV. I'm gonna do some writing. And, oh my God, I got so many proposals that I've got to get ready, finish up for spring. You have no idea. What does that say? I always feel like I'm in the kitchen. You are in the kitchen with me. You certainly are in the kitchen with me. Did y'all listen? Did y'all see me the other day? We spiked the lemonade. And my daughter was like, now you know you had a drink, and I literally, through the grief process, I decided like I was not going to touch any alcohol. Let me tell you, I spiked that lemonade, y'all. I about slept for 2 days. Okay, the dog is like, I'm ready to come out. I'm gonna go get my dog. And blame Drea. Drea, that blackberry lemonade was so off the chain, and we spiked it with some rum. And y'all, I swear, that was the best sleep ever. And you know what? I might need to do that tonight. That was the best sleep I had in a long time. All right, okay, guys, bye.